Good morning. Today I'm going to make scrambled eggs. I'm going to teach you how to do it in a three-step process. Beat, heat, and eat. Now before we begin, I want to make sure that you understand that cleanliness is next to godliness. Making sure that you clean up your surface before and after cooking. Now I've already wiped down everything prior to cooking and washed my hands. We're going to start with this process in just a minute. But first I want to show you the tools and the ingredients needed to make the perfect scrambled eggs. Now, as you look at the tools that I have for the job, we have beat, heat, and eat. Now, to beat the eggs, you're going to need a bowl and a fork to break open the eggs and whisk them together. The heating portion requires a saucepan and a spatula. I usually use about a medium saucepan, and then for eating the eggs, I use a fork, a plate, and a napkin. In order to make sure that your cooking surface is clean prior to eating, you're going to want to use some disinfectant wipes. Now, I'm going to use the same counter that I'm preparing on to eat, so after I'm done beating the eggs, and while the eggs are heating, I'm going to make sure to wipe down any surface that the eggs have come into contact with, including the cooking surface after I'm done heating the eggs. Now, the ingredients for making scrambled eggs are really pretty simple. All you need is a couple of eggs, some butter, cheese, and I like to add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Now let's get started. First step, remember, is beat the eggs. Now we'll take our eggs over here to the bowl, and we're going to add 2 eggs to the bowl, breaking both of them open on the side of the bowl and then whisking them together. And when you're breaking the egg open, you want to make sure that you don't get any of the shell into the bowl. The shells of the eggs are not edible, so you want to make sure you get those out. And you can just get those out by using your hand or your finger. So you lightly tap on the side of the bowl, break it open, bring the egg over to the garbage can, and throw it in. And then you'll repeat the process for the second egg. Breaking it open carefully, getting all that stuff in there. And now, I've got egg on my hand, so I want to make sure that I wash that off. Very thoroughly wash your hands in between each step if you get any of the egg on your hands. Egg contains a contaminant called salmonella. Salmonella can make people very sick. You want to make sure that any of the raw egg that touches any surface is cleaned up. Now, in order to beat the egg, you're going to need 2 hands, one to turn the bowl, and one with the fork to incorporate and break open the yolks. And see how easy this is. You just kind of gotta go kind of quick. Make sure that all those yolks are incorporated together. It's a very liquidy substance. You see, once I'm done here, the egg just kind of falls off of the fork, and there's no large chunks of the yolk left. Now, I like to let the eggs sit for about a minute or so prior to heating the eggs. In order to heat the egg, you're going to bring your saucepan over to the stove along with your ingredients: the salt and pepper, butter, and cheese. Set those up and you're ready to go. Now, I have a gas range. Oftentimes people will use electric, but I'll show you how to turn this on here. You push it in, push the button in, turn it to light so you see the flame rise, and you're going to put the heat to about a medium-low heat. On this one, it's about 3 or a 4. Depending on your stove, you may need to experiment a little bit with the type of heat that you use. It will vary a little bit. Now, the important part about using butter for when you're making scrambled eggs is to prevent sticking to the bottom of the pan. Eggs can be very sticky and difficult to clean up afterwards, so you want to make sure you put in, I use about a half a tablespoon of butter. You'll make sure that the butter is fully melted prior to prior to placing the beaten eggs onto the heat. Get it all into the bottom of the pan. If you look, you're gonna make sure that all of those chunks of butter are melted. You're gonna start to see the butter bubble up a little bit. Just gonna use a spatula to push the butter around to fully melt everything. There, perfect. Okay, the next step, now that we've prepared the saucepan with the heat, we're just gonna incorporate our eggs into the saucepan. Again, making sure that there's no large chunks of yolk left. It's kind of putting that final touches there. When I pour the egg into the saucepan, I pour it onto the spatula. That helps prevent splatter and splashing back. So you pour it onto the spatula, into the saucepan, and you'll immediately hear the sizzle of the eggs on the heat. Now when you're cooking the eggs, you want to make sure that you stir by pushing the egg and pulling the egg around. You'll already start to see that the heat is working and it's taking those beaten eggs in a liquid form, turn them into a nice, fluffy, golden yellow color. Now you're gonna let that sit for a little while the heat does its magic, and you're going to start to clean up. Put the ingredients away, closing that lid of the eggs and putting those into the fridge. And put your butter away. And now is the time to use the disinfectant wipes to clean up your surface area and get ready to eat. I usually save my disinfectant wipes and that will help when you're ready to clean up at the end. Set that off to the side and come back to my eggs here. Again, the eggs are starting to turn that gold and yellow color. You can use the spatula is great for flipping the eggs over once there's less liquid in there. And this is a great point in the heating process to add your pepper and salt and your cheese. You want to add these ingredients once the liquid from the eggs has gone away. Now some people like their eggs a little bit runny or over medium is what they call it. I like mine to have a little bit of golden brown on there. See that cheese is really starting to melt up. There we go. We're just about done there. You can see some of these pieces have some nice golden brown on there. Making sure that you flip the egg over the spatula. Get both sides thoroughly cooked. Alright, we're just about ready to eat. We're going to let that sit for just a second. Put our cheese back into the fridge. Bring our plate over to the stove. And put the cooked egg onto our plate. Alright, add that in there. Set that over there. Alright, now again, you want to make sure that all of the stuff that may have come into contact with the raw egg, I got one over here already, has been thoroughly cleaned down. So just wipe down any surface area here and let the heat cool down before you wash it. Throw that away. And then for the final ingredient, you're going to take Frank's Red Hot, and I like to pour it all over there. You really can put Frank's Red Hot on just about anything. Add it in there, and you are ready to go. I like to have a cup of coffee while I eat my eggs. And remember, making scrambled eggs is very simple. It's a 3-step process. Beat, heat, and eat. Thanks, and have a good day.